Nation here at Eden House. We're in the vast, expansive living room where we host parties and yoga events and things like that. So that's why you hear an echo. We're here with Fabian from Germany, who is about to go back to Germany. He did 12 days of residency here, IMC days at Base 1, Eden House, where he trained with AZD, went out with AZD probably like 6, 7 times, or 5, 6 times, and went out with me a bunch of times and was here for the training, in person, all that stuff. So you get an in-person perspective from not just me, from a guy from Germany, European, like, so English speaking, but second language, right? Different culture and overseas. And, even this morning, I talked to a guy in Los Angeles, so he's right next door, and is skeptical about AZD having multiple relationships. And it's like, I think it might be AI. I don't know. Like, and I don't know. So I'll just leave it to you. Like, if there's anything surprising, unexpected, next level, anything that comes to mind that you think, like, that now that you didn't know when you started 12 days ago.
Well, the thing that stands out most to me definitely is like the magic of AZD. And I'm gonna say now what it means.
Yeah.
So one really deep thing to me was when AZD said it's not how you do it, it's when you do it.
Yeah.
And that was like a huge thing, because you go out with AZD and then you find yourself in a club in a very high level environment.
Yeah.
Like men are looking for women.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden AZD has like 4 or 5 girls.
Oh my God.
They're so within.
Yeah.
Like not a small talk.
It's like, when did that happen?
Yeah. That's it. So you also ask yourself, how does it happen?
Yeah.
But I think what I learned from AZD this time is when it does it happen. That's the
right on. Yeah, that's a whole that's the backstory of all these interwoven romance plot lines that are happening with each girl. Some girl is just in the first chapter, first page. Some girls are just extras and they're just like side characters. And some girls have their own spin-off in a whole novel series, and that becomes a girlfriend that's just like creating stories. And they're all like weaving together through the central character, AZD. And we're all doing that in our life. We're just not expanding in that way. That takes skill, timing, finesse, and inner mastery, really. But we only have short time to talk with Fabian. So what else? Yeah.
So basically, that's the thing I think you have to wrap your head around. Everyone is doing it, but AZD is, and we are aspiring to do it like AZD, to do it in a way of beautiful, like with aesthetics. And if you lay that lens on top of your life, brings, I think, a lot of order to that life, to the dating life, but also to the complete life.
Did you not see that before? Or what's new about it that you saw in the last 12 days? Or anything else? Maybe just refocus on being here in person. What did that do for you? Well, how would you answer that? I don't even know how to ask the question.
Well, the main thing that I'm taking away is that it's the process. So that you gear your life in a way that you have your imagination running constantly.
Yeah.
And that is like pulling out of the ether, and
then
you try to manifest or crystallize in real life. And if you have like beauty within, it's gonna be beauty without. So that's also like a really big principle we went about several times.
So that's a principle that could easily be learned over a video or live stream. Someone says beauty within, beauty without, give some examples. And what was it about the in-person that affected that lesson? Or I'm trying to get at really, what was the difference between in-person versus online?
Mastering AZD and then measuring yourself, because you're like in field with AZD, you're like in a
software. Means like going out and being around women in social environment.
Yeah, and you see the effects, for example, that AZD creates. You must ask yourself, why am I not at this level? Or if there's someone who can do it, how can I copy it, or how can I reach it myself?
Yeah.
And the answer is like, there is like not a complete answer as of right now, but it begins with your insight, and it begins in the mind, and it begins with your internal world, and then the external will fall in place. So that's what you see inside, and then you have to learn from AZD how to, let's say, if you see your inside as a garden, the mind as a garden, you learn how to cultivate it. So just the realization that the inside is creating the outside doesn't bring you anywhere.
Sure.
But then to see a reference experience, to get reality on those levels of experience of AZD, gives kind of clues what the inside must be designed like, and then we can ask him or to design it ourselves.
Were there any surprising clues or any, uncovered clues in you, like how you would change your life now that you've been here? Like any realizations as you go back to Germany, or like what are you going to change about your life now that you've been here in person?
Biggest thing is like I would say the chapter for me, it's like because you have like your 7 pillars of IMC, I think.
For the curriculums of different camps that I've organized into pillars that I call them.
I think chosen is even one of those pillars.
Yeah,
and for me, that's like the ego.
Yeah.
Because that's a real big point, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah. Especially with multiple relationships and getting girls, like they just go more and more into ego. And then the guys that go away from ego, the spiritual guys supposedly go away from ego, they don't get any girls. So it's like, but AZD's demonstrating and teaching and demonstrating, teaching and demonstrating about the ego and egolessness and freedom from the ego and how that manifests as relationships and game. So yeah, that's I think what you're talking about, right?
For sure. Like that's, if you said like what's one thing that you take away from here is if I only could take one thing and have to leave everything else, it would be the work on the ego, like to reduce the influence of the ego in your day-to-day life.
Yeah. How is it affecting your ego that it's different now? How is your ego affecting your day-to-day life that you think in the last 12 days in person it's changed? Oh, that's fine. It's rock.
I would say, first of all, the awareness again that the ego is like constantly there and constantly try to pull you in. For those 12 days, of course, I knew the principle, what we're talking.
Yeah.
I wasn't that aware. And if you go in field with AZD or go in class live, you are immediately reminded of the ego again.
Also, especially in class. I'm interested about in class.
Maybe not everyone.
Yeah.
Because it's like a very high level conversation. And
Yeah.
you have to be able to respond in a certain.
Can you
be like a clown sitting there?
So of course, that's a very powerful point that I think would go missed. When you say it's a very high level conversation, what do you mean? What does that mean to people? High level conversation, and that you can't be a clown.
First of all, it's a high value conversation, and it's
high value in what sense?
Information, like there's the communication is seen as a result of the inside. So if you have kind of a fucked up communication on the outside, like it's like immediately known that your inside isn't right.
Yeah.
And why this is right, you want to get it right because you want to be like one of the cool guys.
You want to be able to keep up for sure. I mean, if we're all, long distance runners and you're just falling behind, like you want to keep up with the pack, So it's about being liked and all that stuff and being one of the cool guys. But literally, I mean, that's the race. The race is who can be the coolest.
Yeah. Not to get it wrong, like not to be seen popular by others because that's the ego, I would say, but to be at peace with yourself. Yeah,
and it's really delicate, right? Because a lot of guys will go to peace with themselves, and again, they won't get girls. So that's very interesting. Can you expand on that? Like, be at peace with yourself. How would you, if somebody tried to be at peace with themselves, well, let me not get too sidetracked. I'll let you just kind of wrap up these points because we don't have too much time to like unpack everything. But okay, so you leveled up in that you feel like your awareness of ego and being at peace with yourself when would it be just living? I mean, in the game, in the field, and just in life, being at peace with yourself. What does that do for you? How's life going to be different for you
now? It lets, like, if you say it in terms of consciousness, there are like different levels that you can tap into.
Yeah.
And if you come from ego, you're always gonna have just so and so big results. Like I think you're gonna, like, even there are people who are millionaires, billionaires who have a huge ego that prevents them. But you were like hitting the point of game, like getting women, having relationships and social dynamics, and like you can't be good. Like you can be a millionaire, you can maybe be rich, be a business owner, have like a really good body, but I think you can't be good in social dynamics with the ego. So where you have to really cut away in the ego is the field of social dynamics. I think that's a discipline we're in.
Yeah, and that's a whole teaching. I mean, I won't even go into like what is ego and all of that stuff, but it's okay, man. That's huge. We're going to summarize this, and I'll look back at it. I'll probably make some more streams from all the open-ended threads that are coming in about it as you talk. So we only have like 5 minutes left. So anything else that's just top of mind of like about the experience, summarizing the experience of in person, first time here, you've been studying AZD for years, online, you've you're very aware of the business and everything that's happening. And it's first time coming in person, it's a big decision. And you made it here for 12 days out of your schedule. So what was it like?
It's like you arrive at the house and it's like I think normally when you go somewhere you plan on it, you do stuff in advance, like even weeks in advance, and even on that I knew it was coming like since a couple of weeks or months even.
Yeah.
It was all happened to mesh and very spontaneous. Like I think I texted you when I arrived at the airport and said, just come to the house, and that's what I did. And you go into the house and then you're there.
Yeah.
And then I was like in the United States for I don't know 4 or 5 hours, and we straight went out to the club. And one thing that is like magical for me is you're good with almost no sleep.
Yeah.
I don't know how it happens. Maybe I'm gonna see it next time.
Yeah, communication is energy. So if you have better communication, well, if you're around bad communication, it just makes you tired and groggy. That's the world. People that's why we all moved here and live with each other, because even the worst of us are better than the best of the people out there when it comes to anything game related. And at the end of the day, you'll hit a ceiling or walls with people when it comes to talking about social dynamics. And that's really the stuff of life. That's like we're doing everything we're doing so ambitious for that. And
maybe like driving home your questions, what was the experience like? The main point is you will have to work at yourself if you come to this place, and like maybe if you go to another coach, I don't know, another personal development meeting or whatever you might call it, you can still kind of hide away. Maybe you know what I mean. You can get out with not working on yourself.
Yeah,
and you have like here you have to at least be okay with yourself.
Yeah, it's not possible to be around. And the thing is, because the longer you're like me, I get the privilege of seeing all the guys come and go. Like you're here and you get to see, maybe you saw Kevin come and go, or you saw him go, and then you saw Jean, he was already here, and he'll be here when you leave. But so you get to, and then you see the alumni that have been around for a while. But I get to see everybody from new guys to returners to guys that are moving here to guys that live here. And the thing about it is some guys, they come with a lot of social anxiety and jitters, sweaty palms and things like that. It's not like you're beaten into just like relaxing. It's just, it's acknowledged and recognized where the person is at, and it's vocalized. And by seeing it, the person changes because everybody around them is avoiding the issue, and they're avoiding the issue for some weird fear or whatever. And so the person very rapidly changes around AZD. He just won't tolerate secrets that are so obvious. And so he'll make it plainly seen for everybody. And then healing happens because it's illogical. We're holding on to character flaws for weird reasons that we've forgotten the reasons. They're from way back, and we just keep holding, and we've forgotten that we're even holding. But we want to get better. We know we can get better, but we don't know that holding is stopping us. And so we come around the team, and AZD's guiding it and teaching, and you overcome that, and a new everything. You don't have to change anything in your life, but your whole life will be different. Your whole life will be new, because you will not be holding that thing, and they're different. And so it's as if being born again, because it's like fresh new eyes. The same old computer looks different, and the interaction on the computer is different. And of course, with the woman, I don't even start. That's a computer in itself. So it's like an analogy. Anyway, just a few minutes left. Anything else top of mind?
Well, yeah. When you said it, you were like kind of hinting at the personal transformation, right? And it's like not different, like not crazy different, not scary different, but different in a way that maybe you could describe some weight lifts off your chest, or maybe even off your head, and you just like more open again. Your expression improves.
Yeah. More open again. I'm curious the word again. Was there a time you can remember that you were open like this?
That's a good point. I'm sure. I think it comes in waves, and that's what I might have said again, because sometimes you up, you down, but it seems like there is some way to always be at a certain level and not fall behind.
I see.
If you stay process.
Yeah, and so we talked about that going back to Europe and how to shift your schedule. It's very possible for guys in Australia and Europe to just shift your schedule around and be on the exact same process we're on, just with a little reorientation. And that's how you build your life. And ultimately, you want to move here. Like Armando just walked in, he moved here, Florida, Tennessee to Vegas. And here he is. Now he's at the epicenter of the future of mankind, essentially, is IMC Nation philosophy of how to relate with each other. It's going to permeate the whole culture because it's the winning strategy. The students are better than essentially everybody out there with social awareness, and let alone AZD, which some people still think are gimmick. He's a gimmick. I talked to a guy this morning who literally thought that AZD's videos were AI. He was legit and he was intelligent. He wasn't a dumbass. Some mid-20s work. He was at work, and he was. It's like, I just don't know that he has all those girlfriends. What do you think about that after having been here and seen what you've seen?
It's one of the responses that people, the average person makes, whenever they see something extraordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he just needs to open up his mind more and just look in.
Hopefully, that's as you were talking. The sentence came to me that it's easier for the guy to explain away that it's fake and AI, and they spend all that money to hire models and pay for AI videos. That's easier to rationalize than somebody on Earth who looks like AZD is good enough to get all those fine women to agree to be with him. That can't. That's so much. And the truth is, it would be easier to make all the AI videos and pay models. That would be way easier. So I get why, but it's just not the reality of, if that was the reality, it wouldn't be a lasting business for 15, 20 years in the dating community. Go look at all the, but that's the thing. New guys, they don't have an education of all the dating coaches out there and their histories. I know, but they got deleted. So the best is, newer stuff. Well, maybe we'll go hunting and see if there's something AZD hasn't deleted.
Look in there, like research.
I think it's this girl that did it. Maybe, yeah. I mean, if the guy's that interested, yeah. Yeah. I mean, man. Anyway, are we waiting for Pyro or what?
Yeah, I'm waiting for Uber and.
Okay. Well, Fabian's got to get going. Do you have any closing message before you leave for the airport? Doesn't have to be.
No, I'm sad to be in the process again.
Yeah.
That's really nice, and I'm curious
Nice.
how it will be in Europe again.
Yeah. Stay disciplined, man. You got to have a sharp edge. You got to imagine AZD in the room right there. Just like cutting, and David Goggins, all those people that you do with the Beast process. Cool. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. That's Fabian, and maybe in the future he'll be back, and then we'll see the change.